Are you the best in Jacksonville at what you do?
Hands down. That's why you all came to me.
Like that.
Another thumb.
Yeah.
I like that.
Only got- Keep it a buck. We are back. Let's get a hand clap. We are back, man. We back. Oh, let me look at my stratosphere again. We have a special guest today, very special guest, Jacksonville native. He is currently, he's a commercial pilot, but he is also the vice president of business operations at SkyLife Elite, right? That's at the Jacksonville Executive Jet Center. I got that right. I knew it. He is proud grad of Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University out in Daytona Beach. He is, from the time I've met him yesterday to now, he is definitely a man of integrity. He's a man of morals, but as we've talked about and we'll get into today, he is a man that's huge on customer service. And as a recruiter, you know, I harp on customer service a lot, and it's overused and it's cliche now, but it's still the most important thing to be able to refer to when you're talking about letting people see who you are, right? Customer service allows people to see who you are. You take a step back so that somebody can step up and, you know, be able to prosper just for a second. And this gentleman does it each and every day. And he's done it today by coming here with us. Ladies and gentlemen, Rogers Brewer. Welcome, man. Welcome
Thank
to
you.
the gym.
Yeah, it's an honor actually to be here. So thank both of you guys.
For sure. How do you like, is this your first time to the gym?
This is my first time.
Yeah,
I'm extremely impressed.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I say thank you. It's not my gym. It's his gym. I don't know why I said that. Thank you. So kick us off, man. Tell us a little bit about Jacksonville, right?
Yeah.
Born and raised?
Born and raised in Jacksonville. I've only lived a couple other places my entire life, but I call Jacksonville home, and I think this is where I'm going to end up croaking the bucket one day. Jacksonville's a very impressive city. So it's got a little bit of everything, as you and I talked about yesterday. Right. It's got a little bit of the beach, a little bit of the woods, a little bit of the river, you know, and a little bit of different type of people that come with each one of those places. So I love it.
What's your favorite thing to do in town? You're not working.
If I'm not working?
Not working, favorite thing to do in Jacksonville?
Favorite thing to do in Jacksonville? Probably eat. I love to eat. I love to cook, and I love to eat. And restaurant Orsay is one of my favorite places. In Avondale, I love Orsay. I love Chop House 13. Calford Chop House, if y'all have been there.
Yeah.
That's where I've had my birthday the last couple of years.
At Calford?
Calford. They do it. They are just like a touch above, like a Capitol Grill or something like that, which I'm not beefing on. Capitol Grill would give me a discount. But I love to eat. I love food. I love friends. I love the European style of eating where you get in there and 3 hours later, you're not even done with the meal. You know what I mean?
Now, you said Avondale. Mojo number 4?
I love Mojo.
You like Mojo?
4. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Mojo Barbecue. Biscotti's is another great one down there.
Scotty's is one of my favorite places too. Great desserts.
Oh, their cakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get me all the time.
Yeah.
Get me all the time.
Me too.
I'm a dessert guy. So, Roger, where exactly are you from in Jacksonville?
So I'm from Avondale. I grew up on Avondale Avenue. I went to school, St. Paul's Catholic School. And then I went to Bishop Kenny and ended up finishing in prep school in Central Florida. So that's where I grew up. And then after that, I came back, and then 9/11 happened. So I was going to FCCJ and kind of said, you know, screw school. I'm gonna go live on my own for a little bit. So I took about a year off and went and worked was doing telemarketing kind of stuff. That's where I learned about like sales and those kind of things, which I've never considered myself a salesman. People have always told me I'm a good salesman. I just say I'm honest. So I think that makes people, you know, think of you a little bit better when you try to get them to give you their money. So so after that, I was in the Marines until 2009, living in California, did a couple tours overseas, and then I went to college in Embry-Riddle.
Nice.
I believe this Sunday, and correct me if I'm wrong, is actually the Marine Corps birthday, right?
Hurrah! Yes, it is. 10 November, 1775.
Nice.
Yeah, Marine Corps birthday. So, very still. I have a text group with a bunch of my Marine buddies, about 14 of us. So I still keep in contact with all those turkeys all over the world. I've actually lost 7 friends since I've been back. Right, so
Sorry
not
to hear
even the
that.
guys that we lost overseas, the guys that we lost since we've been back to drugs and to suicide and things like that. So I wear this still effing here. It's in remembrance for all those guys. So yeah, so the Marine is part of me and will always be a part of me.
So I see you joined, I did a little research, right?
Yeah.
You joined the Marine Corps, I think it was 2003?
2003, March 23rd, 3 days after the war had started. Yeah.
Wow. What made you join the Marine Corps and what was your experience?
I think so 9/11 had just happened, and we were going to war. And in my mind at that time, I was 18 years old, 19 years old. You know, I thought I was going to go, you know, save the world. Yeah. So, I mean, as any other 18-year-old would think. So that's what I did. In retrospect, you know, I think we know a lot more now. I don't think I would have let my daughter do that, knowing everything I know now. But I think it made me the man who I am today. You know, you have a lot of sacrifice in the military, and that's what servitude comes with, and all of those things. I think it's made me a better dad, a better friend, a better Christian, being able to go to war and see those kind of things.
Now, you talk about what you took from your military experience into civilian life, going into the military. What did you take with you,
Jarvis,
right? And then what did you lose? What did you lose? What fell off to where you had to survive?
I was young, I was dumb, I was ready to run. You know, I really didn't know a
Young,
lot.
dumb, ready to run.
Yeah.
I've heard that a different way before.
I've never heard that before.
I've heard that a different way, but I'm listening.
Yeah. So I think a lot of it, we were talking earlier, you know, we watched the shock and awe when I was at boot camp. My series commander rolled in the television. We watched it and he said, "You boys are going to war. You better start acting like it." And from that point in time on, you know, I just matured a little bit more, and lost a lot of that innocence that came with being youth, you know, and being in that pre 9/11 state. You know, we never thought anything would like that happen. We defeated the Russians, you know, the terrorists were kind of a thing, but we were the cream of the crop, you know.
Right.
And so for this all to happen, it was kind of like my life just totally changed, you know, not in a bad way, but this, you know, I am a different man today.
I want to know what went through your mind when they said we're going to war. Did your heart drop? Did you feel a way about that? Like, what? That's kind of crazy.
It is
run?
it is, but they brainwash you in a way in the Marines, and I don't think in a bad way, but I mean, they've got the guys that die in battle on signs. They've got them, they're the street names, you know, the John Bastelones, the Smedley Butlers. They're heroes because they sacrificed their life in the name of, you know, the Marine Corps in the United States of America. So you think from that point on, if I die, I'm going to be a hero. You know, what's worth living? You know what I mean?
I've never thought about it like that.
That's why. And you say it's
never-
on street names, on signs?
Yeah. This is John Basilone. He died in like Iwo Jima, I think. And then, but you know all these guys. They're heroes. You talk about them. And as long as you talk about them, they're never really gone. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And that's the way I've always felt. As long as you hold someone in your heart, you know, they're always with you. They're never gone.
Is it some sort of like curriculum that you have to
Oh, yeah.
know
Oh,
all
yeah.
of them and know what battles
yeah.
they fought in, you know?
Yeah.
What did it look like? Like, was it extensive? I mean, obviously it is.
Yes. So that's one of the things that they do in the Marines that is different to the other branches is you learn about not only the customs and traditions, but you learn about the history, right? The Dan Daly's, the Smedley Butlers, the 2-time award winners for the Medal of Honor. You know the Chosin Reservoir. You know about the Incheon Peninsula. You know about Way City. All of these very famous battles they teach you about so that you know about what the Marines before you have gone through and that you can do then yourself, you know, because then, I mean, Tarawa is spoken in Way City and now I was in Fallujah. That's going to be talked about and taught about for Marines to come years in the future. So you build that. You're a part of the history.
Wow. And how long was your stint in the Marine Corps in totality?
6 years. So
6 years.
2003, and then I got out in 2009, beginning of 2009.
Day one after you got out.
Yeah.
Walk us through it.
Day one,
Day one.
I went on a contract. I went back overseas. So I started doing UAS stuff, unmanned aerial systems, and I started working with a company got bought out by Rockwell Collins. It was called DataPath, but we got worked for Rockwell Collins on a Boeing contract. So I was out there again. That's all I knew how to do. But that day my daughter was born, in March of 2010, I never went back over. After that, I saw her little face, and I'm like, the money ain't worth it.
Yeah.
It ain't worth it.
Yeah. 14 years old.
14 years old. Yep.
I'm gonna shift gears here a little bit. Speaking of children, I have a daughter that's 4 years old. Jarvis have two boys. What are their ages?
14 and 4.
14 and 14 and 4. So I'm gonna shift gears. On a Keep It a Buck podcast, we talk about the harsh realities, life transitions, the ups and downs of what we go through before the success. Having a child now, seeing the world completely different, going through a divorce, what did that look like for you? Did you feel like you failed in marriage? Do you feel like you was too young and mature?
100%.
Step us through what that looks like.
Well, I mean, I got married at 22. I didn't even know about myself, let alone being able to take care of anybody else. And especially with all the deployments going and coming, it's easy to keep a relationship when it's over a letter, or a phone call and stuff like that. But when you got to hit the grind, you got to pay the bills together, it's difficult. And you really got to be in the same state of mind with somebody. And I just wasn't, I was too young. I wish her all the best and everything. But I mean, I got low. I was working in California as an engineer, and I was net like negative $300 every month because I got that child support payment. You know what I mean? I got to pay $300 in rent, and it's just like, it was too much.
What'd you say in rent?
$4,300 in rent.
And what year?
And that was 2016. Living in San Jose in Silicon Valley. And at the same time, then you had homeless people that were sleeping outside your building. So it's like, why am I even paying this much rent? I don't even really like living out here. I mean, the Bay Area in San Francisco is beautiful. It's a cool area, but it's real run down and stuff like that. And I'm just thinking, like, I could move to Jacksonville. I could have a great career. I could do something totally different. Or I could live out here and just continue to be miserable. And so I did. And it was a grind when I got back. Like we were talking about earlier, I was doing my own business. I was working at a grocery store. At the same time, I was flying in my off time, trying to build up my hours, just hustling, not dating anybody, just focusing on myself, focus on getting better, focusing on being the guy. 2019, I quit drinking. And not because I don't go to meetings or anything. I just quit drinking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But just to keep focused on myself. And I still haven't had a drink since 2019. And just because I feel like I'm a better person in the morning because I can wake up and I can do things and I can execute the person I want to be. So it was all part of that hustle. And now I'm here. And now I see all that hard work,
Nice.
waking up at freaking 5 o'clock to go fry chicken wings. I don't want to fry no chicken wings. I'm a damn engineer. I'm a freaking pilot. But it's what you got to do. It's what you got to do to keep making it. Because one thing I'm going to do is keep my head above water every day. That my mantra is not today. That's what I say. When things get hard, I might fail tomorrow. I might fail the next day, but it's not going to be today.
Say that.
I like that.
Say that.
Powerful message.
You literally have, it's not in sports, it's military based, but even then, you went through a transition that was like detrimental, right?
Yeah.
To most people.
Yeah.
To most people, when you lose something, one thing, it's terrible. When you get unfamiliar with another scenario, it's even worse.
Yep.
You're now out of what you know, right? As being the Marines.
Mm-hmm.
You're having a child now. You're a father, and now you're going through divorce.
Exactly.
I know you stated how you grind, but my point is, did it ever get that low? Did it ever get so low to the point where you didn't see this for yourself right now?
It did. But at the same time, I was kind of like that beacon that my other friends looked up to.
Got it.
So I had to be the one. They came to me. They looked at me. What's the plan? You know what I'm saying?
Got it.
I had to be the one with the plan. I was a sergeant of Marines. there's a certain level to where that bravado keeps me like, I can't slip. You know what I mean? I can't. I have to be the one.
Who reaches out to you? Who's that person that reaches out to you or correlates with you to where they keep you grounded? Is it your daughter? Like
I
to the
think
point where somebody has to do it, right? Or something has to happen to where you're going through all of this. You're the beacon of light for your
yeah.
community. It's like somebody has to.
That's why I started going back to church.
Lord, hello,
When things were really good, that's when I
hello.
started going back to church.
That's what's
It's
up.
because I needed somebody to thank for everything that had happened. Yeah, I put in the hard work. Yeah, I put in those long hours. Yeah, I was really, I mean, I went 2 years where I did not have a day off. I was flying on every day, a day I had free, working on the other days, and then trying to be a father on the other days. There was no kind of social life, but I knew that because all of this had happened, I had to give back. And my way of giving back is just thanking the Lord, you know? And I was not, I've always been a Christian, but I was not as affirmed in my beliefs until all the trials and tribulations. And I kept making it out and making it out and making it out. It's like, well, it wasn't all me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It wasn't all me.
I want you to keep it a buck with us, man. In terms of being a dad, going through the divorce, how much do you feel like that impacted your daughter's life now that daddy's not in the home?
I think it's really hard on her. And I will always keep it a buck with you guys, but this is one of the hardest things now. It's because it's been so long, especially with COVID and everything, not being able to see her and then not being able to fly out there. This has been one of the hardest things to navigate because it's not all about us. Right now, we got courts involved and things like that. So it's not just, hey, I want to do this. No, now you got to go through legal process. Now I got to hire lawyers and everything like that. So that's been one of the most difficult things, but I'm lucky because my work is really great and being able to work with me. So the time that I need off to be able to do things with her, they will accommodate. My partner is extremely great. If I need something, she is there for me. And so, so yeah, I can say that is one of the hardest things that I've had to deal with.
So in dealing with that, you know, you've come to a place where it's either you're like it's takeoff time, or now you're starting to see obviously the benefits of everything you've gone through. What does SkyLife mean to? And you just stated a little bit of, you know, basically they give you time to your daughter. What does working at SkyLife, you know, what does that mean to everything else that's happened to you? You know, being right here, being the VP of business operations at
It's
SkyLife.
honestly been one of the greatest rewards because all of my hard work and all of my skill sets, that was one thing is reason I didn't want to go to the airlines is because I'm not that kind of guy to just sit in a cockpit, all right, get from A to B. You know, I got a personality. I need to show this thing off. You know, I need to be able to talk to people. I need to be able to come up with plans. I need to be able to, you know, they call me the Wolf. That was my call sign in the Marine Corps. Do y'all remember Pulp Fiction, Harvey Keitel, the guy that they call, oh, you said you was calling the Wolf. That was me. I made problems go away.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's what one of my skill sets, and I like that I still can be able to use that at SkyLife. You know, we got a problem, hey, I'll solve it. You know what I mean?
That's pretty cool. And it's big boy status, man. You know, to work your way up and now being the VP for what, two years
2
now?
years now. Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about the day-to-day at SkyLife. What does that look like? What's your weekly routine? Step us through the whole process.
Day to day, I mean, it's so fluid every day. So some days I'm flying, some days I'm out on a mission, but most other days, so we've got the maintenance company I'm running full time. So I'm in there dealing with any kind of problems, financial problems that they're having, maybe personnel problems that they're having. They know the airplanes, right? They can do all of that. It's for me to, you know, bring in more business and stuff like that. Then I'm working with new customers, new members, trying to also make sure that the staff has everything that they need, the different personnel issues. You know, I mean, we might be pilots, you know, they might be a little bit higher tier people, but they're still people. You know, they got pay problems, they got stuff like that they also, they've got their own lives, you know, so sometimes they can't fly, sometimes that they want to leave and go to other opportunities, maybe being able to move some payroll so that we can accommodate this person, or saying goodbye, what that looks like, training a new pilot and things like that, business strategy and development. right? Trying to make sure that we are framed and in a position so that we're going to succeed, developing our model in another place, going for government contracts, developing our jet card. Those are all things that are on my plate day to day, and every day, every 5 minutes, it's changing what I'm doing back and forth.
Right. I tell you what, you seem to be somebody that's never done, right? Like
Never
you're
done.
never satisfied, you're never content, you're never done. And you transition and work your way up to where you are now. Is there anything at SkyLife that intrigues you that you want to uh, put another stamp on? Like, is there a part of your personality that you want to bring out through SkyLife that you haven't been able to touch on? Because again, like you're doing well right now, and you seem to be very proud of your work. But again, that being that person that seems to never be done, it's almost like you always have one or two ideas in the back of your mind. What
I
would you
do.
say is next for SkyLife through you?
I think that the next step that we're going to take, we've got some things in for 2025, but our next would be our cellular model. We would like to position ourselves in Punta Gorda, capture some of that South Florida market that we're not able to capture right now. It's what we talked about earlier. It's the third largest charter market in the world out of South Florida. And so being able to really exercise all of those opportunities, that would be it. And so that's been a dream of mine and Rob, our president, since day one, is being able to duplicate what we have here, refine our system, right? Process builds precision, precision ensures perfection. So we're getting our precision right now. We're honing in our scope. And then when we do it the next time, hopefully it's going to be easier. There's going to be a shorter delta, and we're going to be able to execute on day one.
Do you have an issue with it only being one you at SkyLife?
Yes.
I feel like you do so much.
good one.
It's like we have
Yeah,
to
man.
we have to have two of you, right? But
Yeah.
you can't duplicate you.
No,
but,
and I've tried to have 3 assistants, and none of them have worked out.
crazy.
We don't work on the same level.
right.
And sometimes my expectations for them are a little bit higher than what it should be, and I have to realize that they haven't had the same life experience. I shouldn't constantly think, how do you not know how to do this? So it's hard, but and I'm very demanding, you know what I mean? So I expect a level, and if it's not there, then it's not there, then it's not it. We're going to interview one girl. I saw that she showed up late to her other job, and I didn't ask her for the interview. And then her boss was
Hold on,
asking
you
me.
were going to interview
I
somebody.
was going to, and then I noticed I was at her place of work, and I noticed that she was there 10 minutes late.
Wow.
And she was just coming in, and I said hi. And then I was like, yeah, I'm not going to hire that girl.
Oh wow.
And I know that sounds like a lot, but
No, that's
listen,
expectation,
attention
yeah.
to detail for me is everything, right?
Right.
Because if I ask you to put on this flight for 8 o'clock, if I ask you to build this invoice for 15,000 and you put it on for 7 and you build it for 14.5, it's attention to detail,
Right.
I think that's pretty tough. I think one thing I admire about your work is that as a VP, sometimes they tend to take a step back a little bit or not be hands-on with everything. Hell, you're flying, you're part of the maintenance, you're part of the white glove service,
Yep.
the membership.
Yep.
Everything is kind of funneling through you. What does it mean to you, as Jarvis talked about too, as far as customer service being high value to you, to be so active? Because I'm sure some of the things you don't really have to do. It's kind of a choice of how passionate you are about SkyLife.
Right. And you're 100% right. But with those customer service, I have to take on more of the brunt just to make sure a lot of times that it's done. We have some great, our dispatcher, Christina, is top level. She is so good. And our sales guy, Will, he is great as well. But just shaking the hand, right? So I was there when Tim left this morning just to shake his hand, to make sure that I saw his assistant. Hey, you need anything, you can always count on us. Those kind of things. Those interpersonal relationships are invaluable. You're just communicating with somebody over a text. There's not that face to face. I want you to know, hey, I'm here. I'm going to take care of your problem. And I think it's really done well for us.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday in regards to, again, I recruit, and so recruiting over the phone, digitally, it's effective. You can do it, right? But your stamp in recruit, you don't go to school for recruiting,
No.
right? There's no major called, stamp.
JT.
Exactly. So you inherit skills and you learn about what you have to do, and the first thing you understand is impact.
Right.
Is you have to have impact, and the best way to have impact with a person is to shake their hand.
100%.
Is to get in front of them. Their voice is different. If you never see them, you know, and you picture what their voice sounds like, it's always different than when you
Always.
actually meet them,
Yep.
right? And it changes your tone on how you interact with that person or whatnot. And seeing that yesterday, obviously, with how you treated us and how you talked about a little bit, you know, of what you deal on a day-to-day, I think is phenomenal, because not many people understand customer service and what it, not only what it means, but, you know, how much better the company is from it, right?
How much
the
it
company is
drives business.
100%.
And because they are your word of mouth advertising. And when somebody's spending $15,000 on a trip, they're going to get as much information as possible. And that there's no Google review who can give you that first, hey, these guys are first class. They took care of us.
Right.
Hey, I know the guy's dog's name. I know, you know, wife's name, all of that kind of stuff. That makes an impression on somebody, you know?
And you'll never say this, right? I'm sure you won't. But it sometimes supplements for mistakes.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Right? It
I will say
supplements
that.
for mistakes sometimes,
Yeah.
you know. That same flight that's supposed to be at 8 o'clock, you know, and that $15,000, they come in at 14.5 and there's something, they're late.
Yep.
If someone noticed that and they're particular to details the same way you are, and, you know, and they see that or they notice that, and it's like, you know, he'll be okay. We'll be okay because, you know, Rogers is here. You know, we're fine. Because they know you treated them so well, it goes a long way.
Exactly.
You know, and you don't work to, you know, you work for the customer service to be the cherry on top, not necessarily, you know, supplementing for mistakes or whatnot.
Exactly.
Because obviously it starts to look a certain way. So, no, I completely get the customer service game is the cheat code of corporations, man. People don't understand. Networking and customer service is, you know, it's everything. And we talked about this yesterday too, Jacksonville.
Yeah.
We're big here on big upping Jacksonville, right? We're not natives, but we are, you know, we're here now. This is home for both of us. With you being here, you traveling so much, you flying so many places, experiencing so many people. Where is Jacksonville when it comes to aviation, like in your field? Where is Jacksonville, and what are some things that can be better for us, you know, when it comes to aviation, or better for you all
well,
compared
if
to
Donna
other cities?
Deegan is watching, we need the runway extended. We need about 1,000 feet, like yesterday. That actually would really help. But Jacksonville is in such a great strategic place in the country, right? And we can really capture a lot of the eastern seaboard because of it. And that's where a lot of the traffic comes out of. You're going into Teterboro, you're going out of Miami. That's just how it is. And Jacksonville is not in the middle, but it's, you know, positioned roughly enough where you can capture some reposition on the market. It's good for aviation in that way. It's also good because the price of gas is not incredible here, right? And because we own the FBO, we get a great gas price already, but gas is not astronomical. I mean, you're paying $10 a gallon up there in White Plains, New York, and Teterboro and Morristown and stuff. So it's kind of ridiculous. So Jacksonville has that advantage, but you also, and you have Boomerang that's out of here as well. So they're different. They're single engine. We like to fly two engines and two pilots. I've just found that people feel more comfortable on an airplane with two engines. I like the Pilatus. I think it's great. I think the Swiss make great stuff. But for me, it's easier for me to sell a charter with two engines and two pilots than it is with one engine and two pilots, or one engine, one pilot.
You know, yesterday we got an opportunity to tour the facility, which was awesome,
great,
by the way. Awesome. We cannot wait to edit that one up and show the world what that looks like. But you said one thing yesterday that stood out a lot to me in terms of customer service. Once again, that really what drives a lot of companies, right? You mentioned about people who book these flights, but also helping them get the most bang for their buck, as we say, right? You're not concerned with trying to have somebody burn $50,000, $60,000. You would help them find the best one that's the most cost efficient.
100%.
And that stood out because there's a lot of people who are greedy in this industry, right? They see somebody who's probably wealthy, got a lot of money, and probably wax them to the max. And you said, I'm here to give them the best option on what works the best.
Right.
Why does it mean so much to you to make sure that the people are able to get the best option and not probably the most prestige option?
Well, in that scenario, it's because I would like this person to know and trust us, right? And so to be able to sell them every flight for the rest of their life, I'm going to give them the best available deal I can on that first option. That way they come back to me every single time, right? I want them to think of me as their option, not as an option, as their option. And how do I do that? I build trust. And how do I build trust? By letting them know that I'm going to do everything I can to go out of my way to make sure that I get the best price. Now, I'm going to make money too. I got to keep the lights on.
For sure.
But at the same time, I want to make sure I pass off those savings, especially if they're owners, especially if they're members, especially if they've got a block with us, because that's what they entrusted to. You know, their family's life, all of that, their vacation is in our hands. I'm going to do the best that I can to make sure that it goes as smoothly as possible, and then it's as affordable as possible. Because things have been expensive. I went to the store last week. It's $400 just for me and my girlfriend.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a 90-pound golden retriever, but she don't eat that much. You know,
She 90 pounds?
90 pounds. She's a big old girl.
That's a big playful girl.
Yeah.
My
It's a
goodness.
big one.
But yeah. I mean, things have been tight in this economy recently, and I want to make sure that anything that I can do to earn the trust and respect of the people that we fly, I'm going to do.
You know what? I got another good question for you. I want you to keep
It's
it
only
a
a
buck
good
again.
question if he pauses.
Okay. Okay. Another
We'll
good.
see.
I want to know, and I'm sure everybody who probably watches this want to know, have you ever had a moment when you was flying and probably hit turbulence or something like that where you felt like, holy shit, this might be it? Or has something went wrong that you had to fix on the run and was like, this can kind of be a life or death situation or an emergency landing?
Yeah, we've had a couple flying. We used to have a 421 that had an engine that was hiccuping a little bit too much for me. We had to pull the power back a little bit and we came back down. But I think there is another gear that turns in my head, and I don't know about all pilots, but especially in mine, where I say, well, okay, we're trained for this. What next? What's the checklist say? You know, and you just run it in. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, land as soon as practical. You just execute, you know. You got time to think about it when you're on the ground. When you're up there, you know, I'm getting down. I'm going to see my golden retriever and my girl. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to see my daughter. Huh? I'm landing. So y'all can worry all you want, but I ain't got time for that.
Right.
Would you say you revert to the basics?
Yeah.
We talk about it all the time. When you are in a state of turmoil and trouble, in any magnitude, in any facet of life, you must revert to the basics. You got to find a way. Somewhere in those fundamentals is a way to get out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's mood, it's attitude, it's your urgency, but, you know, technically, usually it's going back to some basics. Like, I got to get home. We're training for this. We've done this.
We're getting home.
I've literally done this before. I'm okay. Even if you're not, you have to have that mentality that I'm okay and, you know, revert to what you've learned. So
I used to do a lot of jujitsu, and I was never the biggest guy. But the one thing about it is the reason I would win is because I would stay calm. You got to stay calm. You got to stay calm, breathe. You know what I mean? You got 250-pound guy that's on you that wants to choke you unconscious, but that's all right because he's not doing it right now, and we're getting our breath. You know, calm. Lots like a yogi mentality. You know what I'm saying? Just breathe.
go ahead.
No, you got it.
No, I was gonna say, you know, keep it a buck. We're transition based, right? Transitional development, the outline of it, the outlook of it is what we focus on, right? How do you feel with everything from start to finish right now? VP, commercial pilot, girlfriend, 90-pound retriever, great daughter, right? Great customer service, renowned in Jacksonville, only going up from here. How do you feel about yourself?
You can't stop me now.
Ooh, new thumbnail. I was gonna use the one from yesterday.
Yeah,
new thumbnail.
You can't stop me now.
Can't stop me
This
now.
is just the precipice, my friend. This is just the precipice.
Are you the best in Jacksonville at what you do?
Hands down. That's why you all came to me.
Like that.
Another thumbnail.
I like that.
I only got room for one thumbnail. You can't
Talk
put
your shit.
You only want to put one thumbnail
Like
on YouTube.
that. I like that.
Man, I love it, man.
I like that.
I love it. You got something? 'Cause you know I got to go there.
I already know where you about to
We're
go.
going there. Here we go.
It is time.
We're going there.
It's time.
Man, I love
It's
this.
time.
We're gonna get ready to wrap up here soon, but we always have a little fun before we do that. I actually have two, but I might do it. It depends.
Brace yourself, Roger.
Yeah.
Brace yourself.
I'm bracing.
Aviation, right? Planes, jets, flight, pilots, airports. It's been some great movies over the years. And I'm sure you probably saw some BS in those movies that have been like, what in the world? You know, I'm sure you have.
I love it though.
I'm sure you have. But I'm also sure you have a top 5 list of aviation-based movies.
Yeah, Top
We have
Gun.
to know what those are.
Top Gun,
Are
Airplane.
we going in order right now?
Yeah.
Oh, he
Top-
was loaded. He was
Yeah,
ready.
you were ready for this.
You might
I'm
have
doing the
lost
second one.
this.
I'm doing the second one.
Hold
I'm doing the
on,
second one.
hold
I'm doing
on,
the second
hold
one.
on.
We're good.
Roger,
Okay.
hold on. Before you start,
I'm doing the second one.
You lost this one.
I'm doing the second one.
He was
I'm
prepared
doing the
today for
second
that
one.
question.
I'm
Go
doing the
ahead.
second
Take it
one.
away.
Go ahead.
Okay. Top Gun,
Beautiful.
Airplane, Flight, the one with
Denzel?
Denzel Washington.
Okay.
Nice.
And then the Miracle over the Sully,
Sully was a good one.
the one where he crashed in the Hudson, Miracle over the Hudson, or whatever. And then Black Hawk Down, even though,
Okay.
I mean, that's just one of the, and then Alive. Y'all remember that movie? They started
I have
eating
not.
people.
I'm the worst with
rugby
movies
team
everybody
in
knows.
Argentina.
Really?
That
So-
one mess with you.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That one messed with-
So
was
Top
crazy.
Gun Maverick nowhere in there?
no, regular Top Gun.
Just regular Top Gun.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Top Gun Maverick?
It's a good movie, but I'm an 80s kid. I
Gotcha.
mean, everybody likes that. I
Gotcha.
got the need for speed. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Val Kilmer. You can't beat that.
You were really ready for that. So now I got to go to the second one. I have to. You have 5 places that you can only fly. Like the rest of your life, you can only fly these 5 places. What would be the favorite places for you to fly? You can
Favorite
only fly
places, Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
5. Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Yeah, Seattle,
Y'all write this
Washington.
down. So I'm sure you're gonna put some stuff in here that you never heard before.
Zurich, Switzerland. And then I'm going to say, of course, Miami, because there ain't nothing like Miami. And then I like White Plains, New York. Of all the places in New York, White Plains is really nice. Got some good little delis and stuff, like little bodega looking things. It's kind of like the city, but it's not. I like it.
Awesome, man.
Got a chance to speak before we sat down today, and I found out that we have a few things in common.
We sure do.
I lost my mom
Oh.
at the age of 13, I believe, and you lost your mom.
That's
So
correct.
was it breast cancer?
Breast cancer.
How did that change your life?
I mean, I think I'm the man I am today. Luckily, there was a lot of female influence in my life, you know, aunts and grandmothers and Diane Bell, this lady who came to take care of us. So I had a lot of female influence, but I think that's always been something different. I've never known really what it's like to have a mom. My mom was in treatment the whole time I was little. So for me, this is who I am because of that. You know, I don't.
How old were you again?
42 now. So she
I'm
died
talking about when your mom passed.
when I was 4, 1987. So I was
Baby.
about to turn 5. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know what it would have been like, you know. So this is what my life was like, and I had a great dad who, you know, raised us, and I have an older sister who filled in a lot of that stuff, you know, helped a lot. So I think I'm lucky. You know, a lot of people
Yeah.
always say, "I'm sorry you lost her," but I think I had a great childhood. You know.
What's your transition been for them? What's their transition been like through you? You know,
Ooh, that's a good question.
I get it.
There you go.
You know I
You
get it.
finding it now. You finding it now.
So I think, you know, my dad, I was kind of a rambunctious kid, you know, and I was enlisted. I was not an officer. So that was different from my family. My dad was an officer, my grandfather, my uncle. So I was the first one to not. My dad said, "Are you sure you want to do this?" I said, "What's the difference?" He said, "The difference between being an officer and enlisted is cleaning toilets with your toothbrush and telling somebody to clean a toilet with the toothbrush." I was like, "Yeah, I'm just going to do it." I wanted to get in the fight. I wanted to go. So I think he has seen me grow up a lot because I left home to go to school when I was 15. I haven't been home since. So, you know, I've definitely changed a lot since I left home.
Wow.
So you've clearly been through a lot, seen the highs, seen the lows, bunch of crazy transitions from the divorce to being a dad, losing your mom, now currently being the VP of a big time company here in Jacksonville. Shout out to that. What do you want the world to remember you as when that day comes? I got one, Jarvis. Got one.
Bro, trying to be like me.
I got one. Got one.
that's
Go ahead,
funny.
take a minute. Let
Take
that
a minute.
let that
Take a
sink
minute.
You know, I want everybody to remember me as a
funny.
good man. You know, I'm not going out for my reputation. My grandfather used to say, "Reputation is what you are in the daylight. Character is what you are in the dark. Who's the man that you want to go to sleep with?" And so I try to live my life like that. You know, I try to be the guy that I want to sleep next to. You know.
Pause.
I was thinking it for a
I'm
little
not
bit.
gonna let
I
that
was
rock.
like,
The man you want to
whoa.
sleep next to, elaborate.
I know what he meant, though.
I know I'm being funny.
yeah.
Nah, we joke around all the time. We joke around all the time.
That's fine.
Not in a
That's
gay
awesome.
way though. Because I was gonna say sleep with, but it doesn't even sound weird.
God damn. Easy,
gonna say
Omaha.
something.
Omaha.
Nah, Omaha. That's wild.
Check out that.
Nah, I gotta say, you know, we've had comedians on here. We've had musical artists, geniuses on here, and we've had us on here, right? And so I think the goal is to cross these cultures and get as much information as possible on all types of transitions, right? Every single one of them, because they're all different, but they all provide so much perspective on what life is like outside of your own. And it gives you, let me say this, it gives me a little bit more hope in a lot of different things, because a lot of things don't work out for me the way I do them. So if I'm going through a transition and I know someone who's been in the Marines and has been, a father without a mother, right? And you literally watch your parents and watch their example, and you weren't able to, right? And so you had to develop your own, playbook or manual, right? Then we've had Young Cash, where he's gone through so much, in and out of the system, and with music. And then we've had Nod, where he's doing comedy and he's looking up to someone, and he's starting to bust out on his own after 15 years. It's just so many different transitional perspectives that you can bring to the table. And I just want to say, as somebody who really respects transition, I appreciate your story. I appreciate it. I appreciate it because it's motivating. It's motivating. I always thought that I can't talk to a lot of people about customer service. I'm a nice to a lot of people, but it's not just that. Like I take a step back so that a lot of people can take a step forward. Some people see it as, in my culture, a do boy. So other people see it as, servant leadership, but it's strictly just doing the right thing for the greater good of whatever that is, your entity, your company, whatever it is. So I just want to thank you for your story. What we do here usually, do you have anything else?
Yeah, man.
You
I
got one
actually
more?
wanted to chime
All
off
right, go
that,
ahead,
man.
before we have them talk.
I want to say I appreciate you as well. I reached out to you a few weeks ago. You didn't even hesitate to text me back. It was like, hell yeah, I want to do it. And I think it was a awesome opportunity to hear your story, right? A lot of times, a lot of people don't get to really know what goes on, as the VP of SkyLife, or what your transition was. So we try to highlight that here, and I can't thank you enough to, one, let us take the tour around the facility, look at the jets, meet a bunch of amazing people. But sitting here today, to talk about a lot of things I didn't know, about you, and a lot of things we learned about you today, man. So I want to give you your flowers, man. I'm excited to call you a friend. I'm excited to be a part of this new thing we're building here with Keep It a Buck, man. And I'm excited to see where things go moving forward.
I am too.
Definitely got to get back to the place.
I am too.
Before you wrap up real quick, Jarvis, though, if you can, I think this is the main camera. If you can tell people who's watching, where could they get in contact with you? If they wanted to book stuff through you, website, where would they be able to find that information?
Okay, so flyskylife.com. You can give us a call. All of our numbers are on there. Our fleet is on there. You can kind of see a little bit about it. We've got membership and different options for our jet cards. Get on there and you can request some information, and I'd be happy to follow up with any kind of phone call. Always personalized, and always make sure that I reach out to everybody who reaches out to me. So give me a call. Let me know your travel needs and your mission profile, and I'll find the right plane for you.
Awesome. Do you have social media that you
I
through
do,
this?
but I don't promote it because I don't want my ex-wife on it. But I'm on Instagram.
Keep it a
Smart
buck.
guy.
Rooster141.
Keep it a
Smart
buck.
guy. Smart guy. Well, we'll share.
Keep it a buck, man.
Yeah, keep it a buck. We'll share the SkyLife social media as well on the show. But again, thank you, and again, thank you to Detail Barbers. We really do appreciate it.
Definitely.
Always.
Appreciate
Detail
you
Barbershop
guys.
right
Every
next
week.
door. Every week they help us out, and you see it. They've changed the show a little bit, so really do appreciate it. Go get your haircut here in Jacksonville Beach, and
Make sure they holler at Coach.
Coach, yes. Tell Coach Josh sent you.
Yes,
Coach
sir.
still don't know me like that, so tell Coach Josh sent you. And we're going to do something different. Same thing, but I want to close the show out, with it. You know what I mean? So same camera. You have transitions have made us who we are, right? And we, a lot of times, wouldn't take them back. But when we're talking about, well, sometimes we will, sometimes we will. It just depends. But when you're talking about raising a child, when you're talking about helping friends out, people out along the way, you want to give them advice to be able to avoid the things that you went through that were harder if they can. So we like to have you look into that camera and close the show out with a message to your daughter, to be able to let her know, what she is, not necessarily what she's going to go through, but how to handle transition and how to,
Well, I think
beast
we
it and maneuver.
talked about earlier, my message is not today. You might get me tomorrow. You might get me the next day. It might be the week after that, but not today. Today, I'm going to execute. Today, I'm going to get my plans all the way to fruition. Today is my day, not today. That's my goal.
Love it.
That's yeah.
Love it.
Well, with that being said, Josh, you good?
I'm great.
Rogers, appreciate you.
Been a pleasure,
Thank
guys.
you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
And a buck was kept.